Hello viewers, welcome to Full Spinnaker Ahead. This is episode 31, part 3. In part 2, we'd stopped at Newry Island and found a great place to take the transmission out on a sandbank, and took the transmission out and discovered that the problem with it was that there was a failed drive plate. So we took that drive plate in to Seathorpe to the post office and sent it to Werner Engineering to see whether they could manufacture a new plate for us. And in the meantime, we're heading from Newry Island further down south to escape the oncoming cyclone season. So stay tuned and enjoy. Approaching Bmpton Island from Newry Island this morning. The wind was more in the south, and now it's changed to more to the east pretty early on. That's what they predicted. So I'm just giving myself some space from the mainland before I head more south. We're just coming up to Bmpton Island, and we're going to go around the top of Bmpton Island because every time I turn too early and then I don't get to where I want to go. I'm thinking perhaps St Bees is just over there, but it's not very far away, and Kuru Island is further on, so I'm gonna get myself past Bmpton and then head more south to Kuru Island. But I've got to, it's an easterly wind, so I can basically sail southeast at best. So just going to get up here through this little passage up here. Got a couple of little rocks here, a couple of little, an easlet or whatever just there, and so there we go. I'm probably going to lose a bit of wind coming behind this island, the big wedge shape of Bmpton, and then turn to the right, put the starboard dagger board down, pull the mainsail in, pull the head sail in, let the mainsail just tack around with the engines going. That's how I do it, just no troubles like that. Alright, that's about it. We're back in sailing mode. Back in sailing mode, going behind Bmpton Island from Seaforth or Newry Island, and then on our way down to Mackay here, overnight sail. By the time we get down to the bulk carrier field just south of Mackay, the sun's starting to fade, and we're just passing Hay Point at this point, and it's then on to a little bit further south where we then have to tack and go back up to Prudholt Island, and then we eventually, by the morning, come back around and we end up tacking back to the south to get to eventually to Kuru Island. You can see it in this little screenshot of the nav aid or the chart plotter. Morning, Wednesday morning. Still got the parka on from last night. Wasn't cold, but it got a bit chillier. I suppose got myself into the position where I couldn't anchor anywhere. We come out of Newry Island yesterday morning, got up past Bmpton Island, and then tacked back down towards Mackay and the Hay Point, the coal bulk carriers, went through that bulk carrier field, and then just run out of land. I ran into the land, and it was just getting a bit hairy down there trying to get around reefs and stuff, so I come back out and basically backtrack. So I went down there, and then I come back up there past that island in the distance called Prado Island, come right out towards Penrith, and now I've come down here and it started to get light, and now I'm on these islands. I wanted to get through to Kuru, but the wind's just dying, so I'm going to just go and sit behind this unmarked island on the other side and see if I can get a bit of a anchor there, have a sleep, and play it like that. We're meant to have a fairly calm day today, and then tomorrow is going to be a northerly, I think calm as well, but it'll be a northerly. Yeah, so the wind has been sporadic, I would say. So yeah, I just got to play it with the wind. So that's the score. There's my little bed. Had a bit of a 15-minute kips on that, so I don't feel too bad, but a good sleep will be good. And there's no point in trying to sail in this. It's just like I can't go make any headway, so we'll leave it at that. See you later. You can see the current line running down there. The tide is flooding here at Minster Island, and it sort of draws you into that point. It draws you in as you're going through this gap here. You got to be a bit careful. The GPS or the chart plotter is pretty good for that, because it'll show your boat pointing in a different direction than you're actually going, because you're actually drifting. But you can see all the whirlpools. There's a fair bit of current. I'm just going to get myself straight here. I'm going to go to Kuru Island. I was thinking about parking behind there, but I'd rather go to Kuru Island, so I'll just set up here and I'll have a bit of brekkie while we go over, do a few boat tours, and it'll be lunchtime or late smoke-o by the time we get there. Hopefully the wind stays on. Coming into Kuru Island anchorage. The tide is absolutely ripping. The offset you require to steer is a lot. So I've got to get in between those two gaps. I'm not sure how fast the tide's going. I only got one engine, but it should be alright. And there's 3 boats moored in there already, and I'm just hoping it's not ripping where the actual mooring is. So I just got the anchor out. I'll turn in there and then drop the anchor in between those 3 boats and see how we go. Welcome to Kuru Island. Anchored in 7.7 metres of water, which is probably on the lowest tide going to give you about a metre and a bit of clearance. So I'll just pull my dagger boards up, but I don't think it's at full astronomical tides. Have a look at that. Whoa. Let's go and have a look then. Whenever I get the drone up and I look down on an island or onto the water from a plan view, basically from up high it just, your mind just starts running wild about all the different possibilities, and you really get keen on exploring. I can remember when I was at Kuru Island thinking that when I saw it from the drone, but the body just wasn't up to it. But now I'm feeling a lot more energised after getting over the shingles and the leukemia. I'm pretty sure I'm almost over the leukemia. I'm waiting on some results to come back to see whether I'm in remission or not. Yeah, you just look over this Kuru Island and want to walk up to all the peaks. And you look over on that sandbar and you think about all the sessions of fishing you could have going along that edge, trawling and maybe doing a bit of diving for crays and spearfishing, and it's just, the world starts to really open up. That's why I love the drone so much. Just behind the dunes of Kuru Island there's this little bush. It's like a soak, I suppose. It's sort of a few big eucalypts growing here, and you can tell that they have a bit of water here in the wet. The lawn, there's a bit of a manicured seagrass lawn from, I'm sure, from a few grass eaters. But one thing I noticed when I walked up underneath those she oak palms, it reminded me of my Hobie Cat trip up the coast and just pulling up to places like that and pulling up the boat under a she oak, and it's just the simplicity of it without all the engines and drive plates and cameras and electric kettles. I mean, they all have their, it all creates a bit of a different experience. But I just remember those days just sitting under there drinking a cup of tea, a bit of sugar in it, and just loving it under the coolness of a she oak tree. Here's some. Beautiful. Just under these she oaks here, look at it. Bit of grass, Looks like it's been mowed. Put the tent up. You're out of the elements. You crawl in your little tent of a night and you fill your diary out in your own world. No one else around you. And you read a bit of your book. Beautiful. Love it. Morning, it's Thursday the 17th, I think. Yep, that'll do. Just come out of Kuru Island, which is sort of, when you look at the mainland, it's sort of between Serena and not even Rockhampton, a little more north of Rockhampton. It's in the marine Great Barrier Marine or Grumps island groups. We are basically just running on current at the moment at 3 knots. I'm just going to go where the wind and current takes me. So at the moment, tide's coming in, so everything's going south, which is basically that direction. You can see the sail's not doing much at all, just the occasional puff, and it's meant to be coming from the north, and I'm getting all excited, but we've just basically got no wind. So I'm sort of heading towards another island group called the Duke Islands, but probably a bit closer than I thought that I would go. But and then there's Island Head further on, Island Riverhead or something like that, and that's another spot. That's 60 miles away, but I can hardly see myself doing 60 miles with this sort of movement. So it's just a lot of times in sailing it's like that. You get what you're given, and the wind comes in when it wants, but it's meant to be northerly, so working on that, and we are going south. So we're sort of heading in the right direction. I'd like to go that way a bit more. We already had to divert around this island because we're going that way, but on the GPS it's telling me I'm gonna not get past it, even though the nose of the boat's pointed out that way. We're going like that towards the island, so I've learnt that one. Then you just turn your nose and go with it. Don't try and fight it when you got no wind. That's all good. Sitting on a throne, doing what you got to do. But that island there is Kuru Island, a great little anchorage, and wow, see that? Big bluff head island with a little place to tie a rope on the back there. It's the things you see. It's awesome. But the way I reckon the best way to, if you want to get somewhere, if you're not in a hurry, I'm not in a hurry, but I sort of on a mission because I want to get some work done, and my anchor winch is packed it in, my transmission hasn't packed it in, but it's slow and it needs looking at, so I've got to pull that out for starters and or get another one. My transmission drive plate is away at Werner Engineering in Mackay to get looked at, but I've learnt since it's a hard drive plate, no springs, no dampener involved, which I think that's what needs to be incorporated. But if I can get one of those plates off Werner Engineering to get me home, I'll do that, and I'll make the grand design change later on. And I think that's going to involve an MS2B gearbox drive plate, and then I've got to incorporate that onto the plate that I've got, which will fit on the back of the Kubota V1902, and that's what I'll do. It's been lovely talking. I think I could be doing a lot of that today. You can hear the autopilot doesn't like to be driven when there's no good direction. It goes a bit nuts sometimes. It's probably saying off course or something. Anyway, I suppose I better get back to it. Lovely chatting. our second night sail from Kuru Island. Awesome sail all day, except for the first half of the day. I forgot about that bit already, but the rest of it, when the wind did pick up, it was just like I was sailing in the perfect conditions. We're doing up to 8 knots, 8 point whatever knots, and the wind wasn't that strong. The sea state was just about flat, hardly any swell, and we just seemed to be, it was so easy. I was sailing into the night, the currents kicked in against us, so we're only doing 3 to 4 knots, but the moon is full, so I was just going to see if I could get a shot of the moon. Oh, that's better. I've got to learn all that stuff. I should have learned it by now, shouldn't I? Anyway, let's have a look at the front. The lights have been turned on. The natural light. Wow. Aiming to make Bundberg 150 miles overnight. Have to do 7 knots or more. We started off slow. We're getting up to 8 now with a pretty good stiff strong northerly. If it stays we might have a chance, otherwise we've got to peel off somewhere, a little creek entrance or something. Now always hard to see the sea state from a camera, but it's pretty good. We've got 15 to 20 knot northerly. I'm just coming up to, let's get a bit of brightness happening. Just coming up to that's the designated shipping lane, two-way shipping lane, and I've got to veer that way to miss this ship. He's out there at the moment. I've got to go that way, which makes me deviate a little bit off my course. I'll just show you that ship. He's just out there. Out there somewhere. There, I think. So we're getting into the hectic zone. Not worried about hitting the ship, just staying out of the shipping lane. So close to Gladstone. But you know, it's pretty good. I don't think it's possible to get up to 25 and then coming from the west. That's about all we want. So let's see what happens. Been sitting in the seat for a while today, plenty going on. We're going to follow and see. We're doing, you can see all the ships on there. We're getting up to like 10.5 knots sometimes, coming down waves. Sea's developed now, possibly going to get a little bit stronger, but it also might decrease as we get down the coast. We've got to make it to Bundberg early in the morning. It's going to be low tide, and then early in the morning the southeast change. It's going to come in up to 25 knots, 15 to 25, so sort of running the gauntlet a little bit, I think. But I can always just turn around and sail with the southeast to back up to Gladstone or something like that and get into a safe port. But I think it'll be okay. We'll find out. The proof will be in the pudding. Getting ready for the night time, not far now. We're arriving at Bundberg after an epic trip. It was good sailing at the start, doing up to 10 knots, big seas around Gladstone, and it slowly just reduced to what we've got now here at Bundberg is a motor sail, and have been doing for the last 5 hours just to try and get the boat speed up. We had a following wind, started to drop off, and the speed was getting below 4 knots. So I had to pull the engines into gear, or the engine into gear, to try and keep that boat speed up, because we're going to get it changed here today down at Bundberg of a southeasterly, and we don't really want to be going into it. You can already feel the southeasterly kicking in now, and we can see the lights of Bundberg just over there. The sun's just coming up. We're motor sailing. You can see the tassels just flickering. Motor sailing, and be glad to get into Bundberg, have somewhere to hole up and have a rest and fix a few things. The next weather window's Wednesday, I think, it turns northerly again, and we'll have to make a plan for that yet. The second overnighter in a row